Right, there we go. All right, so we're now back again. Yeah, okay, all good. Now I just had to get YouTube back again. The thing is, though, it's not allowing me to get back to the old stream. It stops the old stream and then makes a new link, kind of a new URL. Yeah, so what happened was my OBS just froze completely. So I was showing you the Sim2Kit Pro overlay, and then it just froze. Anyways, we're back again. So seatbelts back to... Yeah, back in business. Let's see, MAN, that's you here, isn't it? Near Maisach. I got direct to Raditz. Currently we are with Munich.
117 Hotel, monitor, Unicom 122, decimal 8, bye-bye.
Let's see if I can get...
Hello, Lufthansa 2 Kilo, back in cockpit.
So we got CPDLC above 315. So let me see if I can log myself in. Let's do ATC menu, connection. Notification, that's Echo Delta Mike Zulu. Echo Delta Mike Zulu. Josh, yeah, OBS. So my streaming software crashed. It just froze completely. It does that from time to time, unfortunately. Although we got to wait until 315. And it's quite typical. So there's two things right now that are kind of restricting our climb rate. One of them is the weight. So we're currently weighing 76 tons almost, and that's quite a lot for a 321. And also we see the tailwind is increasing more and more. So that's why, yeah, the climb rate is somewhat slower than what we used to. Yep, exactly, I mean, yeah, I'm also direct to Raditz. Yeah, perfect. All right, lovely, lovely sunset here. Cool. And you can see again the Earth shadow. Beautiful. Oh yeah, guys, and please, no politics in my stream. Exactly. Well, this is the latest stable. Isn't that SU3? Is that like, No, really? The police is chasing a guy on the apron in Heathrow? Good God. Yeah, quite often it will shut down the airport, right? No, so cubing Demon, that's one thing that is still missing, unfortunately.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box YouTube channel subscriber experience.
So you can't go into the cabin. What you can do, if you go in the outside view,
snacks and premium flight entertainment,
then you get into the cabin.
Thank you.
So there's a cabin, yes, but it's not part of the normal. So you see, there is a cabin, but you cannot get any cabin seats right now, or cabin viewpoints at the moment. And FS Doc VR, thank you so much for a membership on YouTube. Doc, thank you so much.
Ich habe jetzt noch gewünscht, aber lang ist leider schon am Schließen. Monitor Advisory 122, decimal 8, ciao.
Blocked.
Lufthansa 2 Kilo, Monitor Advisory 122, decimal 8, ciao.
122 decimal 8, Lufthansa 2 Kilo, danke für den schönen Service.
Is there floating orb?
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Argentina 1340, München Rider,
Hey, Grobby.
hello, identify, climb to flight level 240.
And ProSols. ProSol, thanks so much for the 28 months. How are you doing? Nice to see you. No, so Super Groby, I am honestly going to pass on the CSS735. The reason being is that all the streams that I've seen, they were complaining about really bad FPS, and you could see the lags and stuttering going on. Some lighting near the wing. Oh, that. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, this. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't even see that. You're right. There's something there. Interesting. On the other side as well. Yeah. I mean, this is an official livery from FSLabs, so Hey, Dan, you asked, can you fly in real life when both engine 1 and 2 anti-ice are up? Well, you would have to check MEL. And now what they would normally do, because I've had that IRL, what maintenance can do is they can block the anti-ice valve into open so that you can't switch off the anti-ice, okay? And so that way you can actually fly with engine anti-ice, well, in-op, although they're not, it's like running all the time. And I've actually had that in summertime. So let me just have a look at the MEL items here, MEL items. Let's look at...
Wind 0518, München radar, hello, identified climb to flight level 350, direct audits.
There we go, let's have a look. So,
direct audits, climbing 350, wind 0518.
So here the FSLabs, they're not really... Yeah, they're not expecting... They're not expecting engine anti-ice to fail. But like I said, I remember that at least we had one engine anti-ice inoperative, and
6 for Juliet Bravo, monitor advisory 1 to 2, the simulator tone.
We were able to fly. Oh, look at that! So here you go. So here's Munich, and near Salzburg we'll pick up some weather radar.
Passing 341, descending 260, level by Unimi.
So, has the physics model changed? So there's a question.
Direct to Batub.
I think it has changed a little bit, but
EV 502 München radar.
you guys, you remember when I was talking about complaining about missing inertia in Microsoft 2024? Now, believe it or not, I did see a post on the development forums for Microsoft, and they were planning to insert a new parameter into the SU3 update. So they worked on a new inertia tensor parameter in the flight model config, which aims, listen to this, which aims to properly modeling the inertia properties and their effect on aircraft dynamics. However, they were running into issues, and they now decided to skip it, so they're not going to get that into SU3. So as a consequence, they decided to deactivate the new parameter in all future SU3 builds, including the final one. But we aim at fixing and reactivating it later this year. So remember what I was saying about if Microsoft changed something in the underlying model, so the flight internal model, it would cause havoc with aircraft add-ons. And so all the add-on makers would have to change and tune their models. Now, but once that is done, the cool thing is, finally, you would get a correct or more correct or more lifelike inertia simulation, meaning things like different weights. So you have pitch MOI, roll MOI, yaw MOI, weight MOIs. And that would really, in my opinion, drastically change the way the aircraft feel here in the sim. Hey, MAN Flex SRS, how are you doing?
Hello, 310, I'm proceeding direct. Can you repeat, please?
Exactly, Dan. Yeah, you would have to plan for a little bit more fuel. If engine anti-ice is blocked and open, yeah. That is correct.
Romeo Alpha, RTPM 1340.
But the thing is, the MEL, normally, the MEL will tell you that. Right. Let me, guys, I have a real world OMB for that, so FCOM. Let me quickly try to find it, okay? But I can't show it online, obviously. But I can have a look at it and see if that would be possible. At least I hope I have it. Yeah, there it is. Hold on. So let's have a look. So
265 for Papa, descent to flight levels on
let's have a look.
70.
MEL items.
170 right, 26 Alpha.
Condor 711, Venus offline, monitor advisory 1 to 2. Das Simulate, ciao, schönen Flug.
Okay, ich danke euch. 1 to 2.8, Condor 7. 1 ciao. That's a shame. I was just about to log on. But okay, then we don't. Right, let's have a look. So we're going to go with ice protection. Where's ice protection? Ice protection. There is ice and rain protection. Engine air intake. Engine anti-ice valve. 321. Okay, so I've got two options. So we have engine anti-ice valve inoperative in the closed position. It says number installed 2, obviously, so 2 engines, 2 engine ice systems, but 1 is required. So it says 1 may be inoperative in the closed position provided ETOPS is not conducted and the aircraft is not operated in known or forecasted icing conditions. So 1 has to be running. Now, inoperative in the open position, now this is it, so number installed, number required 0. So the text says 1 or both may be inoperative in the open position provided performance penalties are applied and the OAT is below ESA plus 35. So ESA plus 35 means 50 degrees Celsius. And then you have a operating procedure and you have a fuel penalty on a 321, for example. 2 valves blocked and open at 30,000 feet, 35,000 feet, 3.5% trip fuel increase. So, like I was saying, you can fly with both blocked and open. Up to 50 degrees Celsius ground temperature. Okay, so Cooney, right. So let me just switch off the autopilot very quickly, okay? So inertia. What's inertia, right? Definition inertia. Let me get a Wikipedia definition. I'll just put the autopilot on so long. Okay, inertia definition in English, okay? Now, those of you that had physics, you knows what it's all about. So physically, it says it's a property of matter which it continues in its existing state of rest or motion or uniform motion in a straight line unless that state is changed by an external force. Okay, what does it mean? It means this aircraft is moving, right? So it has a certain mass. It's moving at a certain speed in a certain direction. So as long as there is no force acting on any of the axes, right? Yaw, roll, pitch, the thrust or the drag. If all forces remain constant, then the aircraft will continue on its path. So what I'm complaining about in Microsoft 20 and 2024 was that, for example, what's an external force? A wind gust, okay? So a wind gust is an external force acting on that mass, right, on the aircraft, and potentially changing its path, okay? But you have to realize it's not going to be instant, right? Because inertia means you have a force acting on it and slowly, depending on the size of the force, obviously, so if it's a really, really big wind gust, then yes, the aircraft could move a bit quicker. But if it's a normal wind gust, especially on a heavy jet, the aircraft would roll or move, very, you see this, like very slowly, right? Very gently. What it can't do...
Stop rudder input.
Okay.
Stop rudder input.
So what it can't really do is... And here, actually, I think FSLabs have already dampened it a bit from the inputs. So what they've done is that... I've seen it on the flight control check on the ground. So what they've done is that they are slowing down the inputs, right? Although here's actually quite fast.
Rudder input.
But you can obviously manipulate the feel of the aircraft by changing parameters, right? Regarding the movement of aircraft controls and their effect on the airframe. I remember well, that's actually long ago, like when Microsoft 2020 came out, and it took about, I don't know, people were complaining about missing wind turbulence and so on, right? And so at some point they were saying, yay, all right, we got wind turbulence now. And I saw a streamer demonstrating it in a, I don't know, 737 or something, and the aircraft was moving like this, in the crosswind, right? Wind gust, crosswind gust. And I said, what on earth is going on? That's not wind gust, right? An aircraft would never ever move that way, right? So whenever there's a force acting on the airframe, it has inertia, and the heavier the aircraft is, right, the less impact it has on that inertia on the airframe. So and I've been criticizing that because I can feel something not being correct. And so add-on makers, in my opinion, add-on makers have found workarounds to make the aircraft kind of feel somewhat heavier or feel somewhat, having some inertia. But if you watch very closely, or if you know how a real aircraft feels, you will notice immediately, right? So what they're saying is that they were planning to implement a new parameter, and they were calling it empty inertia tensor parameter, right? So, and it was supposed to have different axis parameters. So it would have, empty weight, pitch MOI, then I guess full weight MOI, etc. So your roll, pitch MOIs, and so aircraft add-on makers could, tweak their models to that new inertia simulation. Because again, that would really, really help in allowing, a proper simulation of mass, right? And of course, then the influences of wind gusts, etc. So, a lot more realistic kind of flight feel. That's the thing. Yeah, so they were planning to put that into SU3, but they pulled it out because of some issues, and they're saying that they're going to try to get it back into it later this year. Right, so just an example. So what it did, so here's one thing. So fixed incorrect recalculation of moments of inertia during simulation when the aircraft's weight changes, for example, fuel consumption, payload release, etc. Also, in terms of inertia regarding the center of gravity. And then they had the three inertia tensor values now used for aircraft rotation modeling. So previously, only the three main moments of inertia calculated for loaded aircraft, including additional weights, were taken into account, while the computed centrifugal force, so the product of inertia, were ignored as if they were zero. Yeah, so again, you know, it's not going to be in with SU3, but they're working on it, so that's good. Okay, Lido, thanks for the clip. Appreciate it.
Oh, what's going on here?
Oh my god. Lord. There's someone, yeah, that link. Hang on, let me just share that with the YouTube guys here. I can't show it online because it gets copyright strike. But yeah, there's some people running over the apron, or it's chasing someone that's running over the apron. Now he's kind of running out of stamina. Okay. Yeah, he ran out of stamina. Lol. I mean, that could very easily, very quickly cause airport closure. Lina Katarina, thank you much for the raid. Lina, what were you up to? Katarina, what were you up to? Thank you so much. Big round of applause. A big shout out to Lina Katarina. Hey, Beethoven. So FSLabs added a Neo to the control center, so it means it's close. Okay, well, they're definitely in a kind of a race with the Phoenix, right? Phoenix, I don't know when the Phoenix is planning to release the Neos, but that's definitely some competition going on there.
Ladies and gentlemen, take full advantage of your tax-free allowances today and make some amazing savings with our boutique range. In your in-flight brochure, you'll find details of our award-winning selection of gifts.
Karina, you were flying the 777 from San Francisco to Honolulu. Nice. Oh no, your screen stopped working. No. Oh, okay, on the PC. Huh? Did you get it reset? No, Mad Cat, on the PC itself, not the sim. What does the FSLabs do better than the Phoenix? For me personally, at the moment, I think the flight controls. I mean, I'm probably going to slam the landing now, but I feel that the flare is a bit better, and also now they've done something with the flight control inputs. So, for example, so now when you do some inputs, it's not instant. It's a little bit. It's like kind of a little time delay. So in the Phoenix, still it just stops. The movement stops immediately when you put the stick to neutral. But again, it's supposed to have some inertia, right? Some roll inertia, and then when you put the stick to neutral, there will be a slight lag. So the slight time difference between you stopping the inputs, the roll inputs, and the aircraft stopping the roll. But yeah, I think they've done that quite nicely here. Otherwise, if I'm honest, I mean, I think the sounds are better in the Phoenix. Textures are a little better in the Phoenix. And then there's a few things here that, you know, if you really like, you know, into the absolute realism. I mean, the MEL thing, I know the Mad Dog has it. But no A320 add-on had it yet. So so the tech log book with the persistence regarding MEL items, etc. And then, yeah, the way the aircraft is being a kind of you know, used, getting older and older, right? And then more likely to have something failing. So the monitors just went dark. And that sounds to me, honestly, Karin, that sounds to me like a driver issue if all monitors go dark. Yeah, normally reboot works, but I mean, of course, if it's still flying, then you don't want to reboot, do you? FS Doc, you asked, are you using any dead zone? Yes. So the thing is, though, like I said before, I'm using an external app. So I'm using this. So this is the Moser force feedback AB9. And I have I have a dead zone set through here. All right. So I'm not. I've done everything in normal linear curves here in the controls, and maybe I have still a dead zone as well in Microsoft Flight Sim. But yeah, the main tweaking is done through the Moser software. Thank you so much, Katarina. Once again, thanks for the raid, and a big shout out again. Check out Lena Katarina's stream, please, here on Twitch. Thank you so much. Yeah, MK, the thing is, I'm hearing a lot of people complain about the Phoenix flare, and so, you know, I mean, I'm okay with it, so I don't really worry too much about it, but I know that I get a lot of feedback from people complaining about the Phoenix flare. Is the Phoenix or the TOLIS flight model better? The TOLIS, the things with the TOLIS is that it feels more alive, so more lifelike. The only thing with the TOLIS at the moment is the fact that the roll inertia is just a bit too much. So it's just rolling longer than I would expect once you stop the inputs. Ghost, FSLabs, doing okay, doing fine. Are you excited more about the Phoenix or the FSLabs Neos? Depends. I mean, Phoenix are bringing out a big update as well, right? So they're updating their flight model as well. So to be honest, I think both will be nice. What I'm really excited about is the fact that Microsoft Flight Sim finally, they're seriously working on inertia. And I know that most people don't even know what inertia is in flight sims, and they don't understand the importance of it. But trust me, if they do that well, and if add-on makers can profit from that well with their own flight models, then this will be a huge change. I'm on SU2. That's the last stable one, because I don't use betas. Yeah, MAN, right? Thoughts on the Horizon 787? I have not flown that for a while, but overall, I like it. Yeah, it's a nice add-on. At least in Microsoft 2020, I've not flown it in 2024. The Honey Badger, hello. Yeah, so yeah, SU2 for me. Yeah, we'll check the weather in a moment. Do you have any recommendations on how to get good rest on those legs where you get there very early in the morning and then have minimum rest time? Ooh, that's a tough one, Jacob. So really, the only thing you can really hope for is, for me, a room that you can completely darken. Yeah, it's quiet. So if there's any disturbance, so put in some good earplugs, right? Good earplugs, very dark room, and hope it's quiet. Otherwise, it's hard to get good rest. Coffee, no coffee. Yeah, so definitely. I mean, coffee is a good point, Ghost. So make sure you don't have coffee anytime you know, like 5 hours before going to sleep or something. Yeah, Ted. Yeah. I had some good weather radar returns here in the FSLabs. Yeah. So definitely it works here. I mean, it's the basic. It's nothing special per se. It's the normal Microsoft weather radar, you know, return system. But they do have it, yeah. Oh, the 787 got updated? I have to try it. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I have to try that. Yeah, the iFly 737 MAX is great. I hope that comes to 2024 as well soon, yeah. Thinking of buying either the... Oh, hello. Hello. You're thinking of buying either the Phoenix A320 or iFly 737 MAX. That's a tough one. Personally, I'm more a 737, you know, person. So I like the iFly 737. It's a great add-on. But so is the Phoenix. I mean, that's a tough one. Okay, plane, you got some issues in 2024 with the Horizon 787. Okay, I understand. Buy both, yeah. Which is better for performance? I think both are the same, honestly. There's very little differences, I think. So... do you have, yeah, I have the... No, I don't have the MCDU from Windwing, no. No, I don't have any FCU. The reason I have the mini FCU, yes. I'm not using it though. It's still standing there on my shelf. So I'm using the Windwing FCU, but I don't have the MCDU. The reason being is that people were telling me that they find it somewhat annoying or you know, somewhat disappointing if simmers or streamers use hardware MCDUs because they can't see what you're inputting.
Hey,
so especially for those people that are trying to learn,
well with you and your family.
Then hey, Fly 787, I'm doing well. How are you doing? I'm enjoying my last couple of months now on the 787 before retirement. Yeah, I'm joining you in retirement. But overall, I mean, the quality will be good. Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of tailwind as well. Well, now I'm only 50 knots. It's dying down a bit. It was a bit more earlier. I'm looking forward to it, Ghost, honestly. Wow, lots of questions coming in. Hang on. So we got Garen asking issue with the Phoenix standing right next to the door, and I can't hear anything outside. Okay, well that best thing is to ask the developers, Phoenix, in the Discord. They have a Discord channel, so try that. Usually they answer quickly. Thoughts on Indy A350? What does it lack most? It's a bit twitchy on the flight controls, in my opinion. So it's missing that inertia simulation. It's gotten a bit better now. They've done some workarounds, I think, so it's getting better. But overall, especially on the ground, it's very twitchy, in my opinion. Hey, Jiffy. Is there a chance to create some wing views? No, at the moment they don't have a cabin simulated. So the problem is that if you go into these pre-made views, you don't have any wing views because they're not modeling a proper or normal kind of... or let's put it this way. The cabin at the moment is not part of the cockpit. All right. So and I guess that has to do with performance reasons or whatever. But right now you can't create wing views. What you can do, obviously, you can from the outside. So this is the outside view, right? And you can go in from the outside. So there's a cabin, right? But there's no stable viewpoints, right? Inside. Yeah, so Vinil, I'm using the the FCU, Winwing FCU right now with the EFIS panel, but I'm using the Sim App Pro for that. It's working fine, yeah. Oh yeah, Ted, I fully agree. For immersion reasons, so you know, having a physical MCDU at your desk is great. Absolutely, it's better than having to mouse click here. Yes, I'm using the AB9 base flies. Andrew says the views are... Oh, they're in the drone showcase. Okay, thanks. Hang on. Let me... hang on. How do I get to that? Oh, here. Showcase. Fixed... Ah! Okay, there we go. So there are some showcase views. Ah, okay. My bad. I stand corrected. Okay, so that way you can do that, okay? There we go. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. How do you like it? I purchased the Flight Sim Force Feedback. You love it. Would you add? Well, I mean, so here's the thing, right, Flies? So I used the Moza Force Feedback up to like 2 or 3 weeks ago, only for DCS, because there's so many options you can do. Regarding dynamic force feedback, right, with propeller effects, jet aircraft effects, helicopter effects, all these, you know, speed brake buffet, but in the A320, you don't have that. The real A320 doesn't have a rumble in the stick when you use speed brakes or when you have gear motion, right? Maybe maybe a little bit, I don't know, but normally not. So, and also there is no force feedback in the yoke. It's a dampened yoke, right? So it's independent of airspeed, etc. So to me, since I had to mount it next, or I had to get a new mount for my rig, I waited until about 2 weeks ago. But the thing is, a big change came along, and that is that you have now the adaptive centering compensation. So the spring force strength in the basic physics model is set too low. The base may experience inaccurate centering, right? This is typical due to the combined effects of friction dampening in the base system's own friction. By enabling the adaptive centering feature, the base can use a special algorithm to compensate, resulting in a more precise centering tendency. However, this compensation may affect the field during small movements around the center area, so users may need to adjust the values. But the thing is, what it feels like now is that near the center, you can do very light inputs, and then if you want to deflect the stick a little bit more strongly, then you have more dampening, and that's exactly what the real 320 stick has. Yeah, Turk and yes, that's the thing, right? Everybody has a different feel, a different, different expectation of what it should feel like. But for me, I'm happy with the settings that I have there. Yeah, so Fly 787, a good idea to try it out in the FS Expo, yeah. Would you like to fly the A350 IRL? Well, yeah, why not? Would you change from the 787 to the 350 if you could? Just out of curiosity, yes. But I'm really, really happy with the 787. It's a fantastic aircraft. It really is. I've just flown a short sector again last Monday. And even though I hadn't flown it for like 4 weeks, I absolutely greased the landing. It was a absolute greaser landing, and the whole aircraft, the way it stabilized, the way it's augmented, it's just so beautiful. It's really, really nice. Hey Dexter. Yeah, Flight 787. I will miss it too, no doubt. But yeah. Yeah, so guys, definitely it's gonna be runway. Let's have a look. Shall we do runway? Ah, that's more 11 now, isn't it? Darn. Yeah, the thing is, we're a lot of aircraft inbound to Dubrovnik. Yeah, there's one behind me. We have MAN in front of us. MAN, what approach are you flying? Ghost says if you want to wing views, you can go into the camera config file in the aircraft folder and set the default position to outside the cockpit. Then you can go back and save the views. Whoa. Okay, I would have to have a look at the Okay, guys, I'll tell you what we'll do, guys. Okay, so I mean, well, there's not a big gap behind me, is there? There's like there's a 40 miles. That's 6 minutes, but the circling will take about, well, almost 10 minutes. Whoa. Yeah, and then potentially you have aircraft departing. Yeah, you have aircraft departing as well. So I can't do the circling now. We've done the circling many times, and I've made a file. You can download on my Discord channel, just the info file. And the way that I would go about flying the circling in Dubrovnik is sorry, that's split Dubrovnik. So for the approach, that visual approach 29. Okay, there's two ways you could do that. You can either do the visual circle, okay, and if you want to do that, what I would recommend you doing is program in these waypoints. So in the FMS, I'm pretty sure that you will have Olegu and Mazef in the database. So if you go to fix info, right, Olegu, and then you have Mazef as well. Right, so what you could do is you could get into the secondary flight plan. So copy the active first of all, again, copy the active. And then in the secondary, change that just to runway 29. So hang on, return, arrival. Yeah, I would just put in runway 29. No star. No via. And then on the legs page, I would put in, that's the fix on the center line, I would put in those waypoints. Olegu. Right. So put that in there. And then Mazef as well. There. I would not necessarily close that. What I would do is I would instead go to the fix page, fix info page, and then put the threshold runway 29 in there, like that. And then I would have a look at the runway centerline magnetic track. Go on, where's my... there. So I would go to taxi. And that's 294. So then I would put 294. And then I would also maybe... No, I would just leave that. All right. And then you could do something else, like, for example, you could go into the second page on the data index, go to pilot waypoints, just create a waypoint name there, right, Dubrovnik, and then a place, runway 29, bearing, that was 294, was it? Hang on. That was 294, correct? So 294, and then I would do 2 miles. Store that, because that is actually the point where you're going to intercept the final. You see this? So you would have Olegu, Mazev, you would then turn, make sure you stay inside of that little hill. And then you have the 2 mile to the threshold. And 2 miles is 600 feet with 3-degree profile. So knowing the elevation of the threshold there, you just add, so 500 plus 600, so about 1,100 feet, maybe 1,150 at that point there. Right. So that way you can then help yourself to have some visual reference and some kind of gates to fly through. All right, and that's usually a lot easier. Okay, so let me get the weather real quickly. Garen says, your trick to get into the cabin, go all the way to the right of the cockpit, all the way to the window, that camera settings like co-pilot, and then you can save your views, okay? Some workarounds there. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It would be opposite. Yeah, correct. Yeah, I'm in Boeing mode now. Yeah, but no, you're right. Airbus, you have to put the opposite, correct. The reciprocal. You are correct. So, quickly, Atsu, AOC, arrival ATIS. Probably don't have ATIS. So let's have a look here. No information. Okay, now let's get the METAR. Yeah, 17.5, 101525. Yeah, there's a little bug with the light. I saw that as well, yeah. 1015, 25, 70 at 5. Now for the ILS Zulu, straight in minimum. Yeah, the difference between the Zulu and the Yankee is the missed approach. And both need the radar to be serviceable normally. So the minimum is 730 Barrow. 730 Barrow goes in there. Well, the config full. We have a 3-degree profile, but although, well, we have light wind. We're very heavy, so I'd rather go with a config full landing there. So runway 11, dry. Landing weight 72.7, that sounds right. Dry, normal landing, config full. Let's calculate that. So we need, with automatic low, factored 2,600, and we have available 3,100. That gives me 5mm buffer. And we have the exit, Bravo and Charlie at 3,190. Is that correct? Let's check that. We have exit Bravo 2,300 and Alpha 3,220. So if I want to take Bravo, yeah, low will still work. That's fine. So if I go with taxiway, that's changed. Disregard. 1-1, disregard. Echo 2000, that's 2300. That's fine for autobrake low. So we'll aim for Echo. Yeah. So it is going to be config full autobrake low. And then we're about to ready for descent here. So let's go down 140. We got descend out blue 140. Although, I tell you what, that the rival routing is nonsense, isn't it? Right, let's put ourselves way too high in the profile. Let's go 614 direct to what's the waypoint called? Well, PLAP would be good. There we go, PLAP. So I'm just going to enter PLAP in here. PLAP in there. Execute. Right, now we have 90 miles and then we are just a tad high. Let's slowly get the speed brakes out. Careful with this. You see this? This is actually quite nicely simulated. So at high altitude, you really have to be careful with your speed brakes because of that VLS. So lowest selectable speed shooting up. And you can't get your actual speed into the VLS. Ella Aviation, hello to you. Yeah. Yeah, Ghost, right. So now we just have to be careful to not overshoot, but that's doing a quite nice job here. So now I can get a bit more speed brakes out. A little bit more speed brakes out. And there we go, cool. Whee! Now, I don't know, that lighting is a bit weird again here in Maxter 2024, the ground lighting. Right, it shouldn't be that bright. Okay. Yeah, you can see, you know, those waypoint, those fixes that we've inserted for the circling, right? Now the wind definitely has to change. That's a lot of tailwind, but that's also a good. Yeah, it's then shy, right? So that should be changing, hopefully. Oh, we got aircraft opposite climbing. Let's have a look out for that traffic. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Come on, I just saw you. Where are you? I should be to the right. He's oh, actually, he's above me now. Hang on. Oh, that must be. That must be a different aircraft. Yeah, he's above me now. Okay, no factor. Cool. We're still a bit high in the profile. Let's get some more speed brakes out. We're now full speed brakes. And then let's get some lights on already. Seatbelts on. Well, the VLS at high altitude, Ghost, it's more sensitive to changes in aerodynamics, right? The air is thinner. You're more like Mach number limited, so aerodynamically, right? So that's why, yeah, the VLS up at this altitude, so that you can see that once you descend, the VLS really drops. All right, a little bit low. Performance is all completed. Config full. Fantastic. Right, so for the briefing, we're going to fly via PLAP the ILS Zulu 11. Incup, then later initial approach fix is at 3,800. Then we step down to 2,600. Intercept at 6.5 from the ILS Demi. 3-degree profile down to minimums 730, miss approach straight ahead 1,000 feet, then we turn right, max 185 knots, direct to Felro, and we'll climb to 4,000 for a new approach. That's the idea. Exactly, because of the spoiler extension. Yeah, exactly that. So if I retract the spoilers, obviously then aerodynamically it becomes cleaner, and so the stall speed or the stall margin will become greater again. You see now steering the speed brakes. You see that VLS going down. Yeah, I still have to use speed brakes though. So here we go. Speed brakes out again, and there comes the VLS. The real side stick doesn't have a noticeable center. It's not clutched, or it's not as if the stick snaps into center. No, it's dampened. So when you let go of the stick, it will just very nicely dampened go into the center position. But to get it off center, it doesn't need any special force. No, it's all very smooth. Samos at night is horrible in 2020. Okay, yeah, it's well, I mean, it's just one of those things, right? And you can see again, no sim is perfect just yet. Oh, very technical question coming in. I wonder if the real aircraft, while approaching within a racetrack pattern after passing the destination waypoint, does it create a racetrack pattern automatically? Huh? Hang on. While approaching within a racetrack pattern after passing the destination waypoint, does it create a racetrack pattern automatically? That's too technical. I'm honestly, that's for like Bruno to answer. One of my mods, he may know. I can't answer that off my head. I would have to do some research on that. Am I Munich based? No, I'm Frankfurt based. All right, we're on path now, pretty much on speed. So let's do .ztaf LDDU. There's no CTAF, so it is 1 to 2.8. Okay, cool. Out star. Let's continue to send down to 80, and transition is in 10,000. So we actually go level. Altitude 8,000. Which means we can already put this to 1015 on the standby and 1015 on the co-pilot side. 1015. Cool. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'm going to do some hand flying, so raw data flying, to get a nice feel for the aircraft. That's okay. And now I can read the approach checklist. Approach, Barrow ref, 1015 set. Seatbelts on, minimum Barrow 730 feet. Auto brake is low, and the engine mode selector is normal. And that's the approach checklist complete. TCAS goes to below. Got the landing lights on, fantastic. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Manual thrust. Yeah. Of course. Hey, Alex, would you consider sending your modifications to the profile? Alex, are you on my Discord by any chance? I can send you the profile right now. Well, not right now, but after the stream. Dubrovnik traffic. Condor 71. A question. Yeah, Condor 711 is currently 35 miles out to flying the ILS Zulu in Dubrovnik.
Dubrovnik traffic, Condor.
Yeah, Alex. So just give me a shout on Discord, please, and I'll send you the profile. Yeah.
Dubrovnik traffic.
What would you need this one for if we have the FS?
Traffic, Speedbird 64 Juliet Bravo.
Stevens, obviously, I wouldn't really say there's such a big difference in fidelity and what's better. The only thing really, the difference I can sense is the Phoenix just feels more controllable flying-wise, and so in the flare and landing, it feels a bit more controllable compared to the Phoenix. But, I mean, the Phoenix will have an update out soon, right? So, I think that the really big change will happen with the Neo.
Welcome aboard the Captain
I think that's really...
Twitch channel subscriber experience.
Yes, Alex, please do. Yeah, please do. Then I'll try to send you the file through there.
Complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight entertainment.
Hey, Chris Lee, thank you much. Chris Lee, thank you so much for the
Happy landing,
81 months. Good God.
B711 Rui Greaser.
I will try. Chris Lee, thank you so much for the 81 months of support. Good God. That is such a long time, Chris. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so we're just slightly high, a bit of tailwind still. But not bad, not bad. So I'm going to go down to 5,000 feet now. 5,000 blue. Thank you much, Alex. Yeah. And Bozanak, hello to you. Greetings to Sweden. I'm doing well. How are you? And Robin, guten Abend. Which one do you like better? So, honestly, if I'm offline, I usually fly the FSLabs. The reason being is that it has something that I personally like, because it just adds a little bit more realism, and that's the technical persistence. And then sometimes you get MEL items that you have to take into account, some failures. But again, that's just me. Most people will not bother with that. So, but since you ask what I do, what I prefer, I normally fly the FSLabs. Hey, aviation driver. That's oh, absolutely, MK. So, sorry to break that to you, but the real aircraft, when you fly that and you get into the flare, it's a very much different feel. So you can't really compare it. But I mean, what do you expect, right? I mean, we're sitting in front of a PC monitor, right? Here's manual flight. So what do you expect? Right, manual thrust. Let's get the ILS indications on. I'm going to need some speed brakes here because we still have some tailwind. There's the runway. Speed brakes out. Careful with the VLS. See, now we're in a little bit of a dilemma. Oops. We're a little bit in a dilemma. That we can't use full speed brakes because the VLS is limiting our ability to maneuver. So in order to get the flaps out right now at the current weight, I have to slow down the aircraft, make sure I have a bit of buffer to the VLS. All right, so get that below the first 2 amber pointers there. That's the maximum speed for the flap 1. There we go, flaps 1. Now, once the flaps come out, it gives me a lot more buffer. You see how the VLS now aerodynamically allows me to get more speed brakes out again. Now I get many more options to get the energy out of the aircraft. So now I've got speed brakes out again. And now I can slowly go and get the speed brakes in, get the flaps 2 out, and then I'm good in a good profile here. There we go. Flaps 2, speed is checked. Flaps 2. A nice ballooning. Apparently there's never a ballooning effect in the Airbus, but there is. So that was a nice ballooning with the flaps 2 coming in. So let's maintain 170 for now. Yeah, on the ILS descending. Dubrovnik traffic. Condor 711 is at a 12-mile final, runway 11 in Dubrovnik. Just a tad tailwind there.
Dubrovnik traffic, Condor 5 Echo Kilo, runway vacated.
Thank you very much, sir.
I would love to fly that circling. Right, down we go to 2,600. I would love to fly the circling, but there's traffic departing as well. Right, if you're coming in this side, guys, be aware that your radio altimeter callouts are going to be a lot different to what the threshold is indicating. Right, threshold is about 500 feet, and so you're going to be stable at 1,500 altimeter. So the 1,000 foot gate is at 1,500 indicated here. All right, so be careful with that. Yep, noticed below 3.3, descending 2.6. And then missed approach is going to be 4,000. I'm going to dial that in now. 4,000 missed approach is set. Here comes the gear.
Copy, traffic speedboat, quarter with addons vacated runway 11.
Here comes flaps 3, speed checked, flaps 3. Let me arm the spoilers. There we go. And flaps full, speed check, flaps full. Now, I would look normally in an A321 at this weight, I would look for 1.07 to 1.075 EPR, but we have a CFM. So disregard that. So I would look for maybe 50, 55-ish N1. But that's something in Microsoft Flight Sim that's so hard to tweak, to get right. But we'll see. Yeah, normally it would be about 60%, I think. 60-65%. And that would be around about 1.07 EPR.
2,000.
Yeah, 2,000 is checked. Landing checklist, landing Ecanel no blue. Landing checklist complete. Put some taxi lights on. Well, I'm using frame generation, so I'm not using DLSS for anti-aliasing. I'm using TAA mode. Is that maybe a difference? Because I know if you use DLSS for anti-aliasing, then you do get some blurry screen sometimes. Yeah. That looks beautiful. Right, a bit of crosswind, left 4 knots. Shouldn't really cause many issues here. And yeah, so right now I like how the aircraft doesn't stop rolling instantly like in the Phoenix. So that's something I really like. And also initially I need very little inputs. It's not as sensitive per se, it's just I can really very nicely.
1,000 checked. Heavy on the ILS runway 11, 15 miles in Dubrovnik.
Oh, but there's one thing I'll talk about that in a second. One thing I noticed. Let's see if it does it again. Terrain. Disregard. So let me quickly show you guys. So I'm gonna be crabbing a bit, and then have a look at what's happening after touchdown. Good speeds. Continue.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard.
So a bit of crosswind there. Come on.
5.
You see that? Yeah, that's something I've noticed, and I don't know what it is, but that's not normal. Here's reverse a green. And we have brake low, decel. Yeah, about next taxiway. Yeah, so what happens if you're not exactly straight? So if you're landing with a bit of a crab angle, the moment that you touch down, it pulls the gear straight. So you kind of have that instant yaw towards the center line or the heading of the aircraft. Yeah, so that's I've had the second time now. Yeah, it's like a snap. Yeah, so that's something I don't know. I have no idea why. It could be too much friction, too much traction. Yeah, could be. I don't know what the reason is behind it, programming-wise, but that's something I've just noticed. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew will shortly be leaving their seats to perform safety-related duties. However, we ask that you remain seated until the fasten seatbelt sign has been switched off. Portable electronic devices for
Yeah, and then one thing you will notice as well, if you take off with a lot of crosswind, runway is located in Dubrovnik. If you do that with a lot of crosswind, what you will feel is that the aircraft is fairly stable. You don't have to do much rudder input. And then once you lift off, again, the aircraft snaps into the wind. Right, so there's, yeah, something with lateral friction, traction, whatever. Yeah, I hope they fix that. Anyways, but otherwise, it's a bit floaty, the landing. I don't know, I guess I'm a bit used to other aircraft. But I tried not to slam it, so... Oh, come on. Don't go into reverse. There we go. That off, put that off. Transponder, TCAS, PWS radar. And let's park.
Dubrovnik traffic.
Let's park here.
Heavy, 3 mile final runway 11 in Dubrovnik.
The runway is clear. Yeah, so in flight, again, in flight, I like the movement of the aircraft and the inputs that you do. Taxing is nice. I'm using the tiller, which is also very nice. Come on. Oh, I should have put that into the box here, shouldn't I? AOC menu, gate 5. There we go. Bit more, come on, bit more, bit more. Yeah, I mean, I think I put it in too late. And there you go. That should be good. Right, so APU is not available. Test. Now the question is, do we get... probably not. So chocks...
Dubrovnik traffic, Redmill 518 heavy, runway vacated in Dubrovnik.
Okay, yeah. Right, brake fan on, a bit hot brakes. Even though we only had like auto brake low, so have a look for the gear. Yeah, just above 300 there. Okay. Ghost, thank you much for flying along. Take care. See you soon. Overall, what do you think? I mean, it's a solid add-on. And again, I like how it flies. I just have a feeling that overall... And so, but one big thing, one really, really big issue that at the moment, I would say they have to fix that ASAP, is that traction on touchdown. That is just really annoying. So as much fun as it is to kind of, you know, be able to flare a bit better, kind of get that right, but that instant nose straightening up after touchdown, that's annoying. And it's one of those things I'm wondering why they didn't pick up on that on you know, with the beta testers. Yeah, I can't do anything here with the GSX. All right, let's restart that through the taskbar. Where's my Quattle? Where's Quattle? Quattle? I don't see Quattle. Processes. There it is. Okay, found it. End task. And then Quattle. Hang on. Quattle. Well, gonna have to do without it. I can't get it running. Yeah, I tried, Joel. Yeah, it's here. I can't get it running. Something's blocking. I tried to restart Quattle. But I can't find the prompt for that right now. I know I have a link somewhere, but oh, there we go. Found it. Disregard. Found it. Ah, come on. I just saw you. Come on, give me the menu. Oh, no. External controls, GPU connect, GSX request deboarding. All right, we can do here through. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, overall, nice. So it's working as it should. The only issue again I found on touchdown. Yeah, that's true. The mech call button does connect to GPU. Yeah, correct. I forgot about that. Aviation lover, could you test the backup speed out? Okay. Yeah, it should be. Yeah. that has always been working quite nicely in FSLabs. Hey Beethoven, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Yeah, so that is backup speed, so that's reversible. And so what it does, it gives you a speed band, a green speed band, according to your angle of attack. It takes into account the altitude and the flap settings. Right, so that's really nice to keep you flying in the envelope. I don't know. Is that on the Phoenix? I think so, right? Phoenix has that too, doesn't it? I would think so. I'll just have a look at the...
Ladies and gentlemen, your portable electronic devices must not be used until you are inside the airport. When disembarking, please take care and hold on to the handle.
Yeah, so daytime Dubrovnik is very impressive. I've been here a couple of times, IRL. And this airport can be really nasty. So you have 3 different wind categories. You have the Scirocco winds, you have the Bora winds, and the Mistral winds, depending on the season. And you can imagine if the wind is very strong from the east, blowing over these mountains, you can have severe turbulence. And then a landing becomes almost impossible. So when you have to fly a circling approach onto this runway 29, in these really, I mean IRL I'm talking about, with these really gusty crosswinds, you're going to have people throwing up. Or not being able to land because you're going to have such strong wind shear. I don't. I've just seen it today. I'm not aware of any fixes. For that, you would have to try to ask on the FSLabs forums. Yeah, those fall winds are definitely as critical as on Madeira. Yeah, I agree. Look at that. So MAN, big shout out, MAN. I would like to thank you very, very much for gifting all in all 6 subs today. Thank you so much for that. And then thank you everyone who has resubbed, and also a big thank you to the newcomers. Thank you so much, everyone. I will be back on Tuesday, and I think Tuesday I will try to fly the Challenger 650 again, at least for one flight, and then we'll see what else we can get up to on X-Plane and Microsoft. Thank you much, Conti. Big shout out again to Fly Conti, guys. If you don't know him, please check out his streams here on Twitch. Is it really, Janlop, on your side the nav lights work perfectly? Pwah. Okay. Then I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Thank you, I mean, as well. Thanks for flying along, guys. Also appreciate, always love having you around. Thank you so much, everyone. Let me see. Can we send you over to someone? Oh, Sim Caesars. Yeah. Let's Sim Caesars back from holiday, so I'm gonna go and give him a raid. Sim. Let's see if I can write that correctly. Sim Caesar. Caesar. Thank you much, Mark, again for all the shout outs. There we go. Here comes the command. He will be very happy. Guys, thank you so much again for the support. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. And let's see you again if you like on Tuesday. Good night. And I'm going to send you over to my good friend Sim Caesar. Here we go. Good night, everyone.